Welcome to Heartland TV. I'm Apostle Jeremy Scott Gibbs, and I'm joined today by Jace Wagstaff. He's a teacher with me at Heartland Fellowship and one of my armor bearers and one of my closest friends. And we've been talking about what it means to wander in the wilderness or in the desert. And before we took our break, you were talking about a gentleman that you knew back at Teen Ranch, and you were extremely zealous for the Lord and excited, and just you're ready to go like most believers are that really step into that true relationship with the Lord, especially being filled with the Spirit. I mean, there's even people that aren't filled with the Spirit who just become believers that get excited. But you got excited when you got filled with the Spirit. It really was the turning point in your life. And then you were just zealous and ready to go, and you came across a believer, and I've come across them too, and it, on one aspect, it can seem like they're trying to shut you down, but they're not. They're really trying to temper you, and really, they're trying to give you a little bit of insight to say, listen, you're going to calm down one day, and then you're going to be more focused, and you're going to have more direction, and you're going to be more targeted in your zeal and your love and passion for people. But it doesn't always come out that way, does it? It comes out as, a lot of times it comes like, you need to chill out, you need to relax. And so you came across somebody like that, and you were really talking about this wilderness as something that really was an impact on you, taking you into that wilderness, that discouragement.
Yeah, I've had people temper me before, but what he was doing wasn't tempering.
Right.
At the time. Because he was discouraged.
Okay.
And I could see it in the relationship that I had with him, because I spent a lot of time with him and talking, and he just... Because I was trying to get across to him what the Holy Spirit was about and the baptism and everything, and he was just...
So he wasn't even filled with the Spirit?
He didn't have that motivation anymore.
Okay.
And that's one thing I've been talking to the Lord a lot lately, about that passion and that motivation.
Mm-hmm.
But it was waning in me because of all the things I was seeing. I was seeing people operate in things that I knew the Lord had told me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why are they like this? Why have they become like this?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the growing weary and well-doing.
Right.
And the opposite of that weariness is that zeal.
Right.
And it's hard to maintain that on your own. It's almost impossible to maintain that on your own. It's something the Lord you have to stay connected in Him.
Right.
In order to keep maintaining that.
Well, that's even another discussion we'll have about what it means to be, when it talks about being bound over to disobedience.
Yeah.
Really, the Greek actually talks about being bound over to an apathy. So yeah, so it is that passion coming from the Lord, and that's dependent upon that connection. So unlike being tempered, this person just, they really in that aspect,
misery
it seems like
company.
they transferred to you that deflated, disillusioned despair of, listen, buddy, you need to...
And I didn't take it all on from just that one person.
Right.
Just like I said in the last episode, that a lot of it had to do with my own not finishing things and procrastination, and I saw so many faults in myself.
Yeah.
Like, Lord, how can you use me? I mean, my goodness, look at my life. Look at how I keep messing up. Look at the sins that I keep repeating over and over.
Right.
That have been with me since I can remember.
Right.
And now I got the Holy Spirit. I felt even more condemned now that I had the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Because, I used to compare myself to David. David committed a heinous sin by committing adultery, and then he killed woman's husband.
Right.
And I thought, and you called David a man after your own heart, but then I'd say, but he didn't have the Holy Spirit baptism. And so I'd set myself outside of this area that said, I'm different,
right,
and I'm not as worthy, because look, I've got this Holy Spirit baptism,
right,
and
I should be so much further
squandering
it.
it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I always felt less than where I should be all the time. And so staying in that frame of mind, it just wears you down and wears you down and wears you down, because you're trying to operate on, I'm not where I'm supposed to be yet.
Right.
And you're never going to get there in your mind.
Right.
And so you just get wore down and wore down and wore down.
Don't we always do that? Don't we always set up a higher standard for ourselves than God ever sets up for us?
Yeah.
It seems like the children of Israel did that over and over again. Jesus said, you're setting aside the command of God for the traditions of men. And what Jesus was telling them to do was to chill out and relax and because we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to do this, and he's like, no, you just need to do this. Even with the story with Mary and Martha, she's like, and Martha's like, you're running around, I got all this stuff to do in the kitchen and everything like that, and she says, hey, you tell my sister to help me, and Jesus goes, Martha, she's chosen what's better. That'll get done. The dishes will get done. The food preparation will get done. You need to relax. You need to chill out. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we all deal with, is setting up those rules for ourselves. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to. What we have to do is love the Lord.
Oh, yeah.
And whatever flows out of that love is what we respond to. I think the most significant thing for me coming out of the desert is to learn just to have that pure relationship where I don't get all worried about what, I got to do this. I got to pray every day. I got to, Smith Wigglesworth gave that beautiful example that Pastor Ken's been bringing up a lot as he's reading that one book. I think you gave it to him. Mm-hmm. Where he says, I don't pray for more than...
I've come to the point where I don't pray more than 15 minutes, but I don't go more than 15 minutes without praying.
Exactly, and that's the big thing is a lot of us have been taught, well, you got to pray X amount of time per day, and if you miss it, you're really messing up, or, it has to be a certain length. No, we need to be in a constant communication with the Lord, and I think that was one of the things that we compounded our struggle in the wilderness, because you and I were of a mindset to be in that constant communication, but what we were communicating was, no, I can't. On my aspect, I was like, no, I can't really trust you fully, Lord, because what if I step out there and things go wrong, and then what's going to happen? How am I going to do this? It was always having that backup plan. And your case was, Lord, I'm just a screw up. I'll never make it. I'll never do this right. I'll never do that right. So we were constantly having that dialogue, and that's really what kept us from going insane.
Like, you talk too much.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.